Hey guys, you're listening to the Driven Nutrition Podcast.
If you're not following these steps as a business owner, you're missing out on a huge opportunity to help your community.
It's about more than that. It's about me wanting to take my box to the next level.
Welcome to the Beyond Driven podcast from Driven Nutrition, where we talk about everything beyond supplements, exercising fast, and life in general. Pretty much anything that comes to mind.
For more information about Driven Nutrition, head over to www.drivennutrition.com.
I wanted to get you on a call so we could kind of flesh out a little bit about what you guys are going to be launching here next week. Mm-hmm. And on our call about a week and a half ago, you had mentioned that you used a video on your homepage, and you thought that it might be beneficial for the other affiliates who are submitting a video to this contest for your consulting. How would you suggest they use that? Can you just kind of circle back on that, and we'll, because that was great, man.
Yeah. So, when you told me about your contest, and so awesome that we're going to be able to get more people, help and business coaching, I was like, okay, this is great. And then how they had to submit everything was through a video, and basically the video should be them telling us their story, right, of their journey and why their box got started and who were they serving, or, if it's a small town in XYZ and what their mission is and stuff like that. I was like, man, this is amazing. This is a really cool video that not only would it be super beneficial if it's done well for them to help them in the contest, but also super beneficial for us to market on their website. Like on our homepage at O'Hare CrossFit, the video is the story of O'Hare CrossFit, of what came to be and how this journey of mine started. And I think that's like super helpful for affiliates to do, because as CrossFit boxes, there's more opening every day, and there's more in your neighborhood. What really separates you is your mission and your story, and that's what people buy into. They're not buying into CrossFit that much, because I hate to break it to the world, they could do this from YouTube in the garage pretty easily. Right. And what they're really buying into is your mission and who you are as an organization and the culture that you've created, starting with the owner and then into the coaches. So I really feel like the more we could share that, the more sort of brand loyalty will develop, and people will truly respect somebody not only for, what they could do for people as far as their body and their health, but also why they've even started their CrossFit gym, and be able to have something that's that powerful on their Facebook page, on their website. I think it's just perfect.
I think that's great. And that, I was really thankful that you had mentioned that, because I sent a video to you. We're a week now into the contest. We're actually going to be ending the contest this Friday. So as of today's recording, probably when we release that, we'll be down to about 3 days in the contest. I was glad that you and I had that conversation, because I texted you a video of a submission, and I'd asked the gentleman who submitted it. He actually apologized in the middle of it, and he said that, I'm sorry I broke down a little bit. This just was pretty emotional to share. And I'd recalled the things that you had mentioned, which were just along the same lines of what you just said. And I told him, I said, man, I would love to be able to share this video. I said, but I'd like your permission, because it is a personal story. And he said, I just don't want to end up on Tosh, because there's, this dude that ends up in tears on this video. I said, look, man, there are a boatload of people out there with muscles. Everybody has a PR pick. Everybody can clean and jerk a lot of weight. But what there aren't a lot of out there are people who really genuinely can voice how much they care and share their story. And, so you coached me preemptively on being able to share that. So thank you. And he ended up saying, yeah, that's fine. Just I trust you with it. So we'll be, hopefully tomorrow we'll be using that as an example of people sharing their stories, and we've gotten some really good submissions. So it's been really enjoyable seeing the the difference that these gym owners have made in the lives of their members.
For sure. I think, it's an incredible act of strength and courage to really put yourself out there and say everything that you're trying to do, and why you're doing it. And I think that, not only from a business aspect, but it's super important that people know that part of you, because especially too, as your business grows, that becomes less and less. That could be watered down pretty easily or filtered out, right? Like the days of me doing intro sessions, have passed, which is okay, but still having that sort of, beginning, ethos or thought, and I'll be out there that this is what we're representing first, and this is what this whole thing is built on. I think it's super important for boxers to distinguish themselves, but also too, it becomes really easy as you're growing to lose sight of that also. And so to have that as an easy, available reminder, I think is super huge.
And those are great points. So do you mind if we move on to what you guys are going to be doing here in the coming weeks? I know you guys are you've been really busy, and I know you've been swamped, and I really appreciate you taking time to kind of break this down a little bit. I don't want to take too much of it, but can we kind of bring people up to speed a little bit with what you guys are going to be doing and the personalization of coaching that you guys are going to be bringing to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the one thing that I've always found personally interesting about business is people are successful in so many different ways. So as much as there may have been, a certain way to do things, there is no concrete way. And so there's some good principles. There's some important things about relationship building and touch points and stuff like that. But I wanted to create a program that really was about what the box owner wanted, and that wasn't built on just a highlight reel of any success that I've had or any of my coaches have had at their boxes. I think using that experience has been extremely helpful for us. But what I didn't want to do is just take O'Hare CrossFit and say, we grew, we're good at this. Now I want you to be O'Hare CrossFit, or you're not in the game. So our first call with all of our clients is, it's called a life cycle call. It's around the 90-minute, sometimes they go even longer than that, 2-hour calls, where we really dig into their vision of success and what their dreams are, and not only from a business perspective, but also a personal perspective, because so many times, and I've taught myself doing this, is we think that we are our business and not realizing that you're Jason and I'm Angelo, and we own businesses. They're not the same thing. We have our own personal goals, and we're our own people, and we want certain things in our life, and not to overlook that for the sake of a growing business or wherever the business could be. And so we dig really deep into all of those things, and really try to get them to understand what they're doing. And then we go as far out as around 5 years of goals, and then what we do is start backtracking from there into what makes sense as far as priorities to start right now and where we're going to be at quarterly. And so we're going to map out every year, but definitely that first year of our time together, so the expectations of our relationship are clearly understood. Just like much like people have with their clients, it's not just about the first 90 days or instant growth and stuff like that. This is a journey that we're going to be with our clients for years to come, and we want it to be very successful. So that first call is about mapping out their goals, building the vision, creating a big plan, understanding who we're trying to serve and how's the best to serve them, and then deciding what we need to dive into first. Are we trying to tweak your sales process a little bit to make it a little bit better for you? But more importantly, are we making it a true system that you could pass off and train to your team, so you're not the only person doing intro sessions? And then digging into marketing and what marketing really is, and how there's more marketing than just putting some ads on Facebook, but we also work on that, but getting them to understand this whole spectrum of what marketing could look like for them and what would be the best approaches. And so every part of this journey, from coaching to coaching development of your product and your delivery on the floor. I mean, I've spent the last 2 years basically writing out and helping us figure out what would be some of the best practices in this. And then all the coaches have been trained. I mean, constantly, I mean, I'm sure they're sick of me now with all the calls I make them do with me weekly, but like of all the different options and ways things could work for people, because every business isn't one size fits all. And that was my biggest goal with this program, was to make it personal, like a personal program design versus just a templated program.
And that's awesome. I mean, you struck a nerve just with me when you said, we are not our businesses. We are, we're individuals. And that is, one of the curses of being an entrepreneur. Is we get into it and we associate so strongly. So separating our talents and our weaknesses sometimes from our business is tough, but it really makes a difference when it comes to taking things to the next level. So that was a good clarifying statement. Thank you for sharing that.
No, my pleasure. I think it's so important, right? Like, I mean, like for me, like I remember when I first started out, everything for me was based on how the business, my success was if the business was successful, and then, like also too, letting some of my own fears and insecurities kind of dominate my thoughts and how I would do business. And like, if this program could just help one gym kind of get past some of those limiters and things like that, I would attribute that to a success for the whole thing.
Beautiful. So the giveaway we announced Friday, and you guys launch, I believe the opening for it, you guys are taking pre-reservations for it now through your website. And
yep.
I can only imagine things are going gangbusters for you. And there is a limited number of seats available, if I remember right. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's a limited launch, and there's a couple of reasons why. Is that I never wanted to sacrifice our ability to develop a really good relationship just to have really good numbers. There's people that want really big CrossFit gyms that have 400 or 500 members, and maybe there's not that much depth. And then there's people that want a smaller shop just so they could focus on depth and quality, and that's where we're at with our program.
That's awesome. I when we're at the warehouse and working on different things, I use the story of just drilling a seed really deep down into the ground so the roots can take form, and everything that's done is done with the idea for growth, as opposed to trying to grow fast. Let it germinate. And so good for you. Is there anything that we can help with beyond what we're doing? I know the seats are limited, and I'm grateful for the slots that we have, and I cannot wait to do this giveaway and get the word out there and the stories with the lives that are going to change from it. But from you guys, what you guys are doing, is there anything that we can do to help?
No, I mean, I can't begin to tell you how grateful we are for even your assistance with this launch, and even being able for you to serve your customer base as well as you do, not only from helping them actually understand retail, but even going further and offering this contest for them to, this could change their entire destiny of what they thought was possible for their box if they followed this along well. And so you've been doing plenty. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor to do so. Well, Angelo, thank you for the time, and I know how busy you are, and things are ramping up fast for you guys. So I really appreciate it, and we'll get this call finished up, and I'll get it wrapped up, and I'll get it out to the affiliates tomorrow so they can listen to it. And I hope that if you are listening to this and you want to get in on the contest, you can go to our website, drivennutrition.net, and we've got the very first article we have is about Barbell Ethos. Angelo, where can they find you and your story and the business?
Sure. So barbellbusiness.com/coaching is where we're filling out where our waiting list is living right now for our launch of Ethos. I have a lot of things I've been posting lately about entrepreneurship and business on my social media channel. So Angelo Sisco on Facebook, as well as Angelo Sisco on Instagram. I own and operate O'Hare CrossFit and CrossFit Harwood Heights right outside of Chicago. So you're more than welcome to check those out. And then I'm available, Angelo at barbellshrug.com, for any sort of emails or questions. I'm very good at giving you at least a turnaround time of 48 hours. So if there's anything that I could do to serve anybody, or if you have any questions about the program, please feel free to reach out.
All right. Awesome, Angelo. Thank you. We'll get this out there, and thank you again for the time. I appreciate you, man.
My pleasure. Have a great night, brother.
All right. You too. Bye.
For more information about Driven Nutrition, head over to www.drivennutrition.com.